Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, exploring the triumphs and tribulations of human civilization. Today, we delve into one of the most fascinating tales of antiquity, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. This epic narrative spans centuries, filled with legendary figures, pivotal battles, and profound transformations that shaped the course of Western history. It is a story that begins in the mists of legend with the mythical founder Romulus, who, according to tradition, founded the city in 753 BCE. However, it was not until the expulsion of the last king of Rome, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, in 509 BCE, that the Roman Republic was born. The early years of the Republic were marked by a struggle for power between the patrician class and the plebeians, who sought greater representation and rights. This conflict, known as the struggle of the orders, would shape the Roman political landscape for centuries to come. The plebeians, led by courageous figures such as Lucius Sextius and Gaius Licinius Stolo, fought tirelessly for reforms, ultimately securing significant concessions, including the creation of the office of tribune of the plebs. As Rome expanded its territories through a series of conquests, the city became a melting pot of cultures, with influences from the Etruscans to the north and the Greeks to the south. The Roman Republic's formative years were also marked by the construction of iconic landmarks, such as the Temple of Jupiter, Optimus Maximus, which stood as a testament to Rome's growing wealth and power. The 4th century BCE saw the rise of notable figures like Appius Claudius Caecus, who implemented crucial reforms, including the construction of the Appian Way, one of the earliest and most important Roman roads. This period also witnessed the emergence of the Roman Senate as a dominant force in governance, with its members drawn from the patrician class. As we approach the dawn of the 3rd century BCE, Rome finds itself on the cusp of a new era of expansion and transformation. As the 3rd century BCE unfolded, Rome's expansionist policies led to a series of conflicts with neighboring states, including the Italian city-states and the powerful kingdom of Epirus, ruled by Pyrrhus. The Roman Republic's military prowess was put to the test in 280 BCE, when Pyrrhus, renowned for his tactical genius, invaded Italy with a massive army, including war elephants, which had never been seen before on Italian soil. The Romans, led by consul Publius Valerius Laevinus, suffered a crushing defeat at the Battle of Heraclea. But they managed to regroup and adapt their tactics, ultimately forcing Pyrrhus to withdraw from Italy in 275 BCE. The Roman Republic's resilience in the face of adversity was exemplified by the heroic actions of individuals like Gaius Fempricius Lucinus, who, as consul in 282 BCE, resisted the tempting offers of gold and silver from Pyrrhus's emissaries, demonstrating the unwavering integrity that would become a hallmark of Roman leadership. As the Republic continued to expand its territories, it also faced internal challenges, including the growing wealth disparity between the patrician class and the plebeians, who felt increasingly disenfranchised by the system. The Gracchi brothers, Tiberius and Gaius, emerged as champions of the plebeian cause, advocating for radical reforms to address the Republic's deepening social and economic inequalities. In 133 BCE, Tiberius Gracchus, as tribune, proposed a series of laws aimed at redistributing land from wealthy patricians to small farmers, but his efforts were met with fierce resistance from the Senate, which saw the reforms as a threat to their power. The tragic events that unfolded, including the eventual murder of Tiberius Gracchus and the violent suppression of his supporters, marked a turning point in the Republic's history, as the divisions between the Optimates, who supported the Senate, and the Populares, who backed the Gracchi brothers, began to tear the Republic apart. The late 2nd century BCE saw the rise of influential figures like Gaius Marius, a brilliant military strategist, who would go on to reform the Roman army and secure crucial victories against the Cimbri and Teutones, Germanic tribes that had been terrorizing the Roman provinces. However, Marius's increasing popularity and influence also created tension with the Optimates, who feared his growing power and the potential for him to become a dominant force in Roman politics. The intricate web of alliances and rivalries between prominent Romans, including Marius, Sulla, and the enigmatic Lucius Cornelius Cinna, would soon plunge the Republic into a period of civil war and instability. As the very foundations of the Roman state were tested, by the conflicting ambitions of its leaders. In 107 BCE, Marius, then consul for the fifth time, implemented a series of reforms aimed at professionalizing the Roman army, including the creation of a permanent volunteer force that would be loyal only to him. This move was seen as a direct challenge to the traditional authority of the Senate and the aristocracy, who had long controlled the Republic's military apparatus. As tensions escalated, Rome found itself on the brink of chaos, with powerful generals like Sulla and Marius vying for control of the city and the loyalty of its legions. The fate of the Roman Republic hung in the balance as the irreconcilable differences between its leaders threatened to unleash a maelstrom of violence and destruction upon the very heart of the empire. As the Roman Republic teetered on the brink of chaos, the clash between Marius and Sulla ultimately led to a devastating civil war, with Sulla emerging victorious in 82 BCE. His reign as dictator was marked by brutal suppression of opposition and a systematic purge of his enemies, earning him the nickname the Butcher of Rome. However, Sulla's reforms also aimed to restore the traditional balance of power between the Senate and the assemblies. And he took steps to professionalize the Roman administration. The late 1st century BCE saw the rise of iconic figures like Julius Caesar, Pompey the Great, and Cicero, who navigated the treacherous waters of Roman politics with varying degrees of success. Caesar's eventual crossing of the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, marking the beginning of his conflict with Pompey in the Senate, would ultimately seal the fate of the Roman Republic. As Caesar famously said, "The die is cast," indicating that the course of history had been irreversibly altered. Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE by a group of senators, led by Brutus and Cassius, was intended to restore the Republic, but it instead plunged Rome into another round of civil war. The eventual triumph of Caesar's adopted son Octavian over his rivals Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE marked the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire. The legacy of the Roman Republic is complex and multifaceted, with its impact still felt today. As the French historian Montesquieu once noted, "The Romans were a free people, and their government was a republic, but they were not governed by the laws, they were governed by the magistrates." This tension between liberty and authority, between the rule of law and the power of individuals, would continue to shape Western politics for centuries to come. The Roman Republic's emphasis on civic virtue, its system of checks and balances, and its commitment to the principles of justice and equality have inspired countless generations of politicians, philosophers, and citizens. The memory of the Roman Republic continues to captivate us today, with its legacy visible in everything from architecture and art to literature and law. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that, to understand the present, we must first understand the past.